not nothing a part of the matrix. And if your parents didn't know, they're not teaching you how to sit still and love yourself. And they're not teaching you none of that stuff because they didn't know. I commend you young ones that are in your 20s and younger, and even in your 30s, because I was not aware of this at all. So listen to me when I tell y'all, y'all have one up because y'all are younger and y'all are finding yourselves and trying to find peace of mind. I knew something was wrong. I knew it, y'all. But I was so under black magic that I could call out something was wrong, but it was like I was stuck in that loop until I moved outside of Atlanta and I went to Texas and things shifted. And then when I came back, they shifted even more. It's like, what do they call them? The plates, the platonic, whatever. The plate shifted up underneath my foundation, like literally, when I came back. And I am grateful for it. But I must have compassion for myself. And you must have compassion for yourself as well. What you've been through was not easy. What you've been through, a lot of people probably couldn't even take even a third of what you went through. What you experienced was evil at its worst. What you felt was alienation and loneliness that was deliberately meant to break you. It was meant to break you. It was meant to make you not have any hope in yourself and in humanity. It was meant to leave you broken and unable to heal. But look at you now. Look at you now. Whether or not you're just taking the first steps, whether or not you're at the beginning, the middle, or the end of your journey, look at you now, my love. Look at you. Healing and shit. It's not easy. But you're doing it though. Ain't you? You doing it. Tears and all, snot bubbles and all. You doing it. Have compassion for yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it. Sure, everybody on the outside of you deserve it too, but you deserve it first. Unless it's like you got a sick baby or anything, but you know, circumstances. But you know what I mean. You have to love yourself first. Even on the plane, they tell you to put your mask on first before you try and help anybody else. Because if you're so concerned with your neighbor or your child, even if you're a child, I'm gonna put your child in it. If you're so concerned with your child and you don't put your mask on, you're gonna get the mask on your child, but you're gonna faint and pass out. Is your child gonna be able to put your mask on? So, I get it, but it's difficult. It's hard. And then you got to start asking yourself, why is it so hard for you to show yourself love in that capacity? It gets wild, y'all. It gets wild. And then you start realizing that and you couldn't tell me, like, when I think back on my 30-year-old self, my 20-year-old self, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't loving myself completely. But I didn't know what I didn't know until I realized I didn't know it. I was, however, loving myself to the best of my abilities, but that was on the outside. That was what I was doing on the outside. I wasn't really catering. I was until I was not. And I say that to say, like, even though I wasn't consciously aware of a spiritual journey and there actually being one and a point to this life, because there is a point to your life. There is a point to everybody's life on this planet, right? But even when I wasn't aware, when something traumatic happened to me, I did take time away. Like anytime I broke up with somebody, I didn't date for like a year or more, like seriously, until I didn't, and I made that choice. Remember that story? So now that I'm aware of it, it's like I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it. Even back then, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing it. But it was because my heart was in it. My heart had to heal. If I broke up with somebody, I actually loved them because I didn't, I didn't claim too many people. And so if I claimed you as my man, it's because I loved you. And I still have love for them. Am I in love with them? No. And I don't even think I was really in love with them. I think I saw a case where I could help. The empath in me was like, oh, let's help fix them. I helped them. I definitely know I helped them. But it's not my place to fix them. It's their place to fix themselves. And so all that energy I was putting outward towards other people that really, I'm going to say this, didn't want to help themselves, because that's basically why I would have moved on. It's because they're still stuck. But I didn't know I was allowing them to drain my energy too. And to steal my spiritual gifts. Go figure. That's that one of the laws of karma. You can inadvertently, unintentionally, mistakenly take on someone else's karma without you knowing it. Why? Because your hidden enemies could be your mama, your sister, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your dog even, your children. And if you're constantly giving to your hidden enemies, they are literally, this is not figuratively, this is not like make believe, they are draining your energy. So it's like you have to withdraw your energy from them. And that is difficult. But you can't feed negativity. You can't feed negativity. I still deal with it on a daily basis. I still get locked out the house intentionally. Intentionally. It's only one or two times it's a mistake, but every time you go and the door get locked, it's not by mistake. Don't let them even try and gaslight you and Jedi mind trick you into thinking that it's a mistake. Anything that someone is repeatedly doing to you, even after you say, like I've said it, I've spoken to everybody. And it's like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I forgot. Okay, but now that I've reminded you, they still haven't done anything. They still haven't said anything. But when I asked, it was like, oh, I forgot. Okay, well, this is a reminder. Like, why haven't you shown love? Why don't you? And they'll give an explanation, but the behavior doesn't change after that. That's when you know it's just an excuse. And they're going to continue to do it like they do now. But it's how you interpret it and how you think about it and how you observe the feelings that they may bring up and they may not bring up. Now, in 200 videos, I was bothered by a lot of it because I didn't understand. I didn't understand it. It's like, I didn't treat you like this. I didn't raise you like this. So why are you treating me like this? Why are you, that's the thought process that I had at the time. But now when I understand that people's spirits are who they are really, and their actions dictate who their spirits are. No matter what they say that come out their mouth, their actions show you. Their actions show you how they value you. Okay? Hear what I said. Their actions will show you how they value you. So take a look at how they're treating you. Take a look how they talk to you. Take a look at what they don't invite you to. Take a look at the things that they don't tell you. And take a look at the things that they do invite you to. And 9 times out of 10 is because they need your assistance or your help. Like, I didn't get invited to nothing, but I got invited to cook a pie for Thanksgiving. I'm not cooking anything. I don't get invited to anything, but you want my services and you want me to cook a pie. And then it went from, I just need your She was going to do it herself. And then it went from, I'm not making it. Yeah, because you thought I was going to make it. But I've been making pies for them my whole entire life. I've been cooking for them my whole entire life. I've been showing love my whole entire life. And when given the opportunity to show it to me because it's actually needed, not because I want it and I, want you. No, because it's needed because of the situation I'm in. It's like, oh, no. Oh, you trying to make us feel guilty. I'm really not, though. I'm just trying to understand, and overstand how is it okay that I can do it for you, but when I'm in need, that it's not okay for you to do it for me, or you come up with 1,000,001 excuses that are not relevant to helping a person in need, which is so crazy to me. So when you understand and overstand and understand what you are dealing with and who you are dealing with, it becomes a lot easier to maneuver throughout. It does. Because you have a higher perspective. But back then, I didn't have that higher perspective, and my feelings was genuinely hurt. They're not hurt anymore because I get it now. And it's not meant for me to understand everything. It's not. And that's another thing I had to come to grips with and let go. Me trying to understand everything. Because some things it's not meant for you to understand right then and right there. It's just not. It'll all come together maybe a couple of months from now. Maybe 6 months from now. Hell, maybe 3 years from now. It'll come together. So once I get tired of spinning my wheels and trying to figure it out and I let it go, it comes. So actually, it's like the spiritual journey really boils down to you letting a lot of stuff go. That's what I'm figuring out like right now. It's like just letting a lot of things go. A lot of things, people, places, and things go. And depending on who you are, depends on which one of those that will be the most difficult for you. Like for me, it was people. For you, it may not be. For you, it may be things. Maybe you were raised in a very impoverished neighborhood and, you struggled a whole lot and didn't have no meals and stuff like that. And so you're attached to the material world, your things, because they bring us comfort. But what happens when those things are no longer available? What happens if you don't have your car? What happens if you don't have what you consider to be like stylish clothes? Or what happens if you can't go get your hair done every 2 weeks, or for the fellas every week? What happens? What happens to you when those things are unavailable to you? If what happens to you is that you feel less than, then you have some work to do. Because those things should not dictate how you feel about yourself. You should be able to walk around here looking what the world would consider be raggedy because you look unkept. And it's only because you don't have the funds to go out there and do those things. But you're not unkept. But if you allow the world to tell you that you look unkept and you internalize that feeling, and then you start feeling less than yourself because you don't have what that person has, or you don't have the money to go get this, and you don't have the money. That is why it is time to sit still. Those things never define me. I grew up without those things. I grew up wearing Procats and Lees. No, not even Lees, dungarees. Y'all remember dungarees? And yeah, when I got my first job, I love clothes. Of course I do. I'm a woman. Women love fashion. We like to be cute. We like to feel sexy, But when those things were no longer available to me, it didn't do anything to my self-esteem. It didn't change my confidence. What changed my confidence and what I'm rebuilding it now for was because I believed in things that were not real. People, places, and things, all three of them. I believed in certain things in those three categories that were not real. And what really shook me was the people. That in itself almost shattered my confidence. But beneath that was always God, and that shouldn't have been beneath my family. God should have been first. If I was seeking God first, I would have saw people around me a lot sooner, I believe. But we'll never know. Unless one of you guys invented a time machine and I can go back and see But I always say have compassion for the people you are dealing with. Why? Especially if they're not awakened. And let's be honest, I did a video about everybody's awakening is not to God. And I think that was the actual title. Everybody don't awaken to God. They awaken to that other energy. And it's not always pleasant but it's within them. And it's because of the things that they've done in their life. Your actions show what energy you are residing in. And I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I've done some things. But at the heart of it, where was my heart? I've never been a vengeful type person. I'd rather walk away from you because I know I have a temper. That's pretty much why. But now there's another reason why. That was really the reason why in the beginning. But now it's like, okay, you want me to. Because that's that devil energy. They feed off of it. They feed off of it. Just like I thought, if I ever would have hit my niece back that day, I think I would have been locked in this cycle forever. I really do. So I don't know how long you've experienced your trauma. But allow yourself more than a few years to heal, okay? I really don't know when I will feel whole. I can't even say again, and I want to say again. At some point I did, right? As a kid. Compassion, my loves. It's what you need right now. I'm not talking about what everybody else needs right now. What do you need right now? You need to have compassion for yourself because you're healing, and it's not easy, especially if you don't have any help. What? Give yourself extra compassion if you don't have no help, meaning you don't have a supportive partner, a support team around you, because it would be a lot easier because, you have help. But if you're like me and you're doing it by yourself at this point, give yourself a little extra compassion, a little extra time, a little extra love, a little extra attention, a little extra sitting still. I literally hang out the window. I put my pillow on the windowsill and I look out. I hang out the window. I do. Love yourself enough to know that you will heal in time. Message for thyself. Because these 3 days I was annoyed. With myself though. Because I'm like, what I gotta do? What I gotta say? What I gotta do? What I gotta feel? What am I missing? This was the thoughts going on in my head. Like, before it was like, okay, what creative thing can I turn into some money? No judgment. That's exactly what I was thinking, because it was like, okay, in order to sustain myself and have my autonomy and to be able to do for myself like I've always done, I need to be able to, work. That hasn't come yet, y'all. And this 400 videos probably by now. And that's frustrating. But that's not the most important part that needs to be rectified. And I get that. I'm trusting that. Because the alternative would be sitting here, and I can't do that. It's like, I can't go back. I will not go back. I know what's waiting for me. I know what's waiting for me if I go backwards, You do too. Think about it. If you went backwards, what's waiting for you? Heartache. That's it in a nutshell. Never mind the residual effects of depression and gaslighting and all that other stuff, but heartache is waiting back there for me. Why would I go back? Why would I go back? So I'm moving forward. I may be moving forward at a turtle pace. I don't know. But even that is judgment against myself that I'm learning, okay, my pace is my pace. If I'm calling myself a turtle, it's because I am, measuring my growth rate to someone else's. If the only rate I know is my own, why would I say it's slow? Because it's uncomfortable and I'm ready to go. I don't even think it's uncomfortable anymore. It's just now I'm just ready to be in my own space. Like, but every day I learn something new. So it's like, okay, if I was here, would I have learned that? If I wasn't here, would I have learned that? I don't know. I don't know. All right, my loves. Namaste. Ashe. Mazel tov.